Europe, 1940. As the Third Reich drew a dark cloud across Europe, tanks rolled and bombs fell, consuming the once quiet continent. Even with all this violence, there was a darker undercurrent that many would discover for years after. Here, in the Dark Lounge, we discuss what might have happened. The train empties its cargo, a channel of distraught people torn from their homes. Above them stands a man, dressed in an immaculate uniform and white gloves, revelling in the power of directing people to the left and right. Left, stripped of all worldly possessions and dignity, to meet death in a gas chamber. Right, a fate worse. Who is this figure? This merchant of death? Josef Mengele was born on the 16th of March 1911 in Günzburg, Bavaria, Germany. His father was the founder of the Carl Mengele & Sons Company, producers of farm machinery. As the oldest child, he excelled at school and later in life attended the University of Munich to study a PhD in anthropology. His studies took a dark turn with a focus on racial theories around genetic deformities. He soon became a leading voice in the Institute for Hereditary Biology and Racial Hygiene. Mengele joined the Nazi Party in 1937 and the Schutzstaffel SS, Protection Squadron, in 1938. He was awarded 4 medals in his service fighting for the Nazis, but in June 1942, while stationed in the Ukraine, Mengele was injured in action near Rostov-on-Don. Unable to be on active duty, he was transferred to the headquarters of the SS Race and Settlement main office in Berlin. Soon after, he was transferred to start working on his philosophies that he hadn't studied since university. His new role, investigating racial hygiene at Auschwitz. Once he had divided the victims as they left the trains entering Auschwitz, Mengele revelled in the power and the brutal regime of the camp. Casually, he would murder those he deemed unfit with a pistol as they walked by, or inject them with phenol as they slept. Racial hygiene was a term used by the Nazi Party to purge Europe of Jews, Romani people, Polish, mixed-race people, and physically or intellectually disabled people. 2/3 of the people who arrived at Auschwitz would not be deemed fit to work and disposed of via the gas chambers. Just as grotesque, by using racial hygiene as a justification, the so-called scientists used prisoners from Auschwitz and other concentration camps as test subjects for their human experiments. Once chosen, Mengele's research victims were better fed and housed than the other prisoners, and even included a children's playground. When visiting his young victims, with some as young as 3, he introduced himself as Uncle Mengele. Twins were the main focus of his unwanted attention, with weekly examinations of their physical and mental health. He would offer sweets with one hand and plan and execute hideous tests with the other. Removal of limbs, intentionally infecting one twin with typhus, then transfusing the blood into the other sibling. Many died during the tests, and those who survived were often killed and dissected by Mengele, as he had no further use for them. It was stated that in one night, Mengele personally killed 14 twins in one night by injecting their hearts with chloroform. Mengele worshipped Hitler, and his pursuit of the master Aryan race and global domination. So, was there another purpose for these experimentations on innocent children? DNA, the building blocks of life and what defines the way we look and possibly act, was discovered in the 1950s, but many believe it was found long before this. Cloning, the process of producing genetically identical individuals of an organism either naturally or artificially. Identical twins share their DNA code with each other. Could Mengele have been studying and experimenting on twins to learn more about cloning key members of the Nazi Party? Was this an attempt to continue the Third Reich past the mortal limits? To ensure the Furher couldn't continue far into the future? Could artificial insemination be used to promote the lineage of the senior Nazi hierarchy? By experimenting on those deemed unworthy, did Mengele use knowledge learnt to create?